So this chapter of Kagurabachi is definitely telling us that the story is heading down a completely new direction, especially with what we saw towards the end of the chapter with Yura being defeated. Here's something I will say. I have no issues at all whatsoever with Yura being defeated, because the way that Hakazono handled Yura's character in Kagurabachi really made me appreciate him overall as an antagonist because of how he was written. He was very engaging, and I mean, if I'm being honest with you, outside of seeing Chihiro and the rest of my favorite characters in this series, whenever we got some focus on him, I was happy because I just loved how complex he was. So the fact that we were able to get what we did with the character, I'm satisfied with, and I just fell in love with his character even more in this chapter once we got more context as to why things were heading down the direction they were, given what happened in Yura's past. And I'm going to break that down for you guys. I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts when it comes to everything surrounding Kagurabachi Chapter 104. So if you guys have any thoughts of your own when it comes to this chapter itself that you want to share with me, be sure to let me know down below so we could talk about it in the comments. But let's talk about Kagurabachi Chapter 104 now. The chapter opens up by showing Yura 18 years earlier, right as the war was ending. In this scene, he's at home preparing a simple meal for his wife, and it gives us a clear view of what he hoped life would look like after everything settled down. He wasn't trying to be a leader or a fighter in that moment. He was someone who wanted a quiet future, and seeing that helps explain how much he lost when things fell apart. And this flashback also shows that Yura was carrying expectations about what the world could become after the war. He hoped the people in charge would guide things in a better direction. That didn't happen, and the disappointment from that time is something he never let go of. This chapter makes that part of his past easy to follow without needing extra explanations. And later in the chapter, Soga enters Yura's memories through the Magusumis, and through this, we see the places Yura once protected and the people he took responsibility for. And these memories show that he felt obligated to help keep things stable, even if the world around him was already breaking down. Seeing this flashback and the memories together gives a complete picture of Yura's motivations. It shows why he was so committed to the enchanted blades and why he believed his actions were necessary. He didn't choose his path out of sudden emotion. It came from years of trying to hold on to a world that never improved after the war. And when Chihiro surrounds Yura with Suzaku's flames, it shows how much he has learned about controlling his blade. He uses a level of heat that weakens the Magusumi's influence instead of destroying Yura outright. This tells me he understands Suzaku well enough to adjust its strength based on what the situation needs. The markings fading from Yura's body make it clear that Suzaku's fire isn't only for direct attacks. It has a cleansing effect when controlled properly, and Chihiro being able to use this part of Suzaku shows how far he has come since the start of the series. And this moment also reflects how Chihiro thinks during fights. He isn't trying to overpower someone without understanding what's happening to them. He knows Yura is under the Magusumi's influence, so he uses Suzaku in a way that removes the problem without going further than needed. It's a sign that he's growing both in strength and, of course, in judgment. And by the end of the scene, it's clear that Chihiro has reached a point where he can balance force and precision, and he uses what he learned instead of relying only on power, and that growth plays a major role in how the rest of the chapter unfolds. And the final clash between Chihiro and Yura takes place in the air, and both of them commit everything that they have left. Chihiro activates Aka Suzaku and pushes forward with full force, while Yura tries to hold his ground even as his strength fades. The scene is direct and clear in showing how determined both of them are. And during this exchange, Yura gives his full explanation about the post-war world. He says the people in charge made choices that caused long-term problems and that the world never truly moved forward the way that he hoped it would. This belief shaped every decision he made, and hearing it now brings his reasoning to the surface. Yura also tells Chihiro that he can't understand the weight of the past because he didn't live through those early years. And this creates a clear divide between them. Their conflict isn't only based on strength, it comes from two different views shaped by two different areas. And when the clash ends, it shows their confrontation with a clear resolution. Both characters push themselves as far as they could, and Yura's final words give closure to his part of the story before the chapter shifts towards the next threat. And after the fight ends, Soga takes full control of Yura's body. The flowers that appear during the takeover confirm that the transformation is complete, and this marks the end of Yura's role and the start of something entirely new. This moment also shows that the danger hasn't disappeared. It has simply moved from Yura to Soga because Soga saw Yura's memories, so he now has information and context he didn't have before, and that makes him far more unpredictable going forward. And with Yura gone from the conflict, Soga becomes the next central threat. His goals aren't the same as Yura's, and the way that he approaches problems will likely change the direction of the story, and that creates a clear shift in focus as the chapter ends. The final scene makes it clear that the next stage of the arc begins with Soga. Yura's story has reached its conclusion, and the narrative now moves forward with a new opponent who brings a different kind of challenge. So yeah, jumping into Kagurabachi, especially when it comes to where we currently are in the story, I honestly thought that Yura was going to be the main antagonist of the series just based on how everything was being set up with the story. But now looking at how everything unfolded and seeing that now Soga, after witnessing everything surrounding Yura as a whole, has now took those memories into account so he could understand him a lot more, and now we have a good idea that he's more than likely going to be the main antagonist. It just makes everything like more interesting moving forward when it comes to everything surrounding like what we know so far. And I'm just really curious to see exactly like, okay, what's going to be happening next once we move forward, because this definitely feels like the conclusion of the arc, unless there's, of course, you know, a couple other things that we need to get through, which I understand because there definitely is some other things as well. But it definitely feels like, you know, we are reaching a point to the story, not necessarily where it's ending, because Kagurabachi has a long way to go, but reaching to the point of the story where things are just going to get more intense, more dangerous, especially when it comes to the sort of conflicts that we're about to get into in later chapters of Kagurabachi, just based off of this. And I agree with a lot of people when they say that, you know, every Kagurabachi chapter that comes out is a banger, because trust me, they are bangers, and each chapter just keeps going up and up and up, and I just love it. Which is why I want to ask you guys, how do you feel about this Kagurabachi chapter? Is there anything in specific that you want to share with me when it comes to how you felt about this chapter? Be sure to let me know in the comments, because I would absolutely love to talk about it with you guys there. And if you guys enjoyed this video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you guys want to follow me on my social media, be sure to check out my X, my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Facebook. All the links are located in the description below, so be sure to follow me on there. Also, if you guys want to check out my Discord servers, we could talk more about anime, we could talk more about manga, we could talk more about Kagurabachi, just like how we did in today's video. Be sure to click on the link that is pinned in the comment section so you guys can do exactly that. And before you click off this video, of course, be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I'm dropping a new video on the channel. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.